Today, we're diving into one of your most valuable and, let's be honest, most vulnerable resources, your mental energy. We're going to uncover why certain people can leave you feeling completely wiped out, and more importantly, how you can start defending what we're going to call your cognitive fortunes.
You know that feeling, right? You hang up the phone or walk away from a coffee chat and you just feel drained, like you've run a marathon. You weren't doing anything physical, but you are just totally exhausted. It's a really common thing, and trust me, it's not just in your head.
So what is actually going on here? This isn't just about being an introvert or an extrovert, not at all. This is about a specific, kind of measurable resource that's getting all used up. We're talking about something called your cognitive bandwidth.
The best way to think about it is like the RAM on your computer. It's all the mental space you've got to juggle tasks, to handle stress, to learn new things, and crucially, to regulate your own feelings. It's basically the engine that powers your focus and all your decision-making for the entire day. Okay, so picture this. Every single morning, you wake up with a full battery, right? 100% of your cognitive bandwidth ready to go. But here's the thing. It's a finite resource. Every little thing you do, from figuring out what to eat for lunch to dealing with a difficult coworker, it all draws from that exact same power source.
So the real issue, the thing that acts like a massive power drain on that battery, is something called emotional labor overload. This happens when a relationship basically forces you to constantly manage not only your own emotions, but theirs too. And these dynamics can absolutely gut your daily bandwidth.
All right, so how do you actually spot these, let's call them energy vampires, in your own life? Because it's not always super obvious. So let's get into the diagnosis. Here are 5 subtle but really powerful warning signs that a relationship is draining your cognitive bandwidth.
Okay, let's break these down. First, one-sided conversations. Do you ever feel more like an interviewer than a friend? Second, constant crisis management. Their life is just one emergency after another, and you're always the first responder. A huge one is feeling responsible for their mood, that feeling of walking on eggshells just to keep them happy. Then, of course, there's that physical exhaustion after you see them. And finally, you find yourself censoring yourself. Avoiding certain topics because you're scared of how they'll react. Do any of those feel a little familiar?
Recognizing these signs is, of course, step one. But to really get why it's happening, we've got to look at the neuroscience. Why do these interactions have such a deep physical and mental effect on us? Well, it all comes down to how our brains are literally wired.
And this is where it gets super interesting. There's this concept called brain mirroring. See, our brains have these things called mirror neurons, and they make us subconsciously copy the emotions of the people around us. So when someone is anxious or angry or stressed, your brain literally starts firing in the exact same patterns. You are, in a very real way, feeling their stress.
And when this is happening all the time, this constant involuntary mirroring, the effect can be just devastating. One source I read described it perfectly. Over time, it leads to what they called the silent collapse of mental strength. It's just this slow, quiet wearing away of your ability to cope.
Okay, so that was the diagnosis. Now for the really important part, the prescription. And this isn't about just cutting people out of your life, not at all. It's about learning some real, practical strategies to protect that valuable asset we've been talking about.
The absolute first step is to completely reframe how you think about your energy. It is not an infinite well you can just keep dipping into. It is a fortune, it's valuable, it's limited, and it really deserves to be protected and invested wisely, not just handed over to anyone who asks.
So how do you actually do it? Well, it starts with setting clear boundaries around your time and your emotional availability. It might mean limiting your exposure. Maybe that 2-hour lunch becomes a quick 30-minute phone call. A key skill is just learning to spot those warning signs early, before you're already completely drained. And finally, and this is probably the most important part, you have to start prioritizing your own well-being. And that is not selfish. It is absolutely essential for survival.
So, I want to leave you with this question. Just think about your day, your week, all of your relationships. If your energy truly is your greatest fortune, who are you making rich?